Wednesday the 10th, everybody. Here we go. It is Talkback with Thane and Sophia till 10 o'clock. Then Benny Mack, Talking Smack with Benny Mack from 10 to 10:30.
Why are
Sophia,
your eyes closed?
I'm just really tired.
Why are you so tired? You're always tired. That's my gig. That's me. I get to say that. Oh,
I like your glasses. They remind me of who's that guy in Seinfeld? Hello, Newman.
Kramer. Oh, yeah. Okay,
Newman.
yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you. That's really, really nice. Makes me feel very attractive.
Yes, so here we are. You can comment on the show at any time by just hitting the George Costanza. Oh, yeah, that's George. By hitting the comment section and writing a comment. We acknowledge everyone that writes a comment, and we say hello to you, and we treat you like you're part of the community.
He's Big Logie.
Big Logie, g'day, mate.
What's up?
Talkback family. Here we are. We're at it again. So I'll put a link up right now. The link basically means that you can join us. We've got Bomber Bradbury joining us very shortly for our Wednesday chat. Now, Bomber knows everything there is to know about politics and anything kind of interesting. So if you've got a question for him, they can go back to the Channel Z days if you want to, no problem. But he is he's our guest, like we do on a Wednesday. And Big Logie, big fan. Bomber is
epic. He is indeed.
And why don't you throw out some just everyday questions to Bomber tonight? If you don't understand anything, Sophia, or just you guys out there, throw a question. Nothing's too dumbed down. Yeah. Okay.
That's a lesson to be learned if you're thinking, what the hell is this conversation about? Ask us, because chances are we don't know either. So just message us or jump on the chat in one of these video pods. Thane's just put up the restream link. So there's a link in the comments. You'll see it on the Facebook page. If you go through the comments, it'll say host, and then it'll say something studio restream. Click on that and we'll let you in, and you can jump on in there.
We're live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and a whole lot of others. Welcome if you're watching on the Daily Blog or Bomber's Facebook page. We're coming through a whole lot of stuff tonight. Nice to have everybody along. Let's get to our fact check and our Benny Mack. And LinkedIn. Benny Mack, good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am back on Wednesday, 10th of November, and I am your resident fact checker. I studied to get this gig. I went to AUT for 5 years. I got a student loan. I owe the government $50K. They won't let me out of the country. I'm qualified.
This is your life now. Thank you very much, Benny Mack. Nice having you check in.
Vest.
Yeah, very Buck Rogers.
The vest with the t-shirt color and the glasses.
Hit the B square. Hit the B square.
Yes.
Good on you, mate.
That's
Martin Bomber Bradbury, welcome to the show.
Comrades, how are you?
Very good, mate.
Very well. Very how are you?
I'm good. It's been a hell of a week in politics. I think that we saw some things this week that surprised a lot of people. I think we saw some anger.
Yes.
And I think we had to sort of have some hard conversations with ourselves. How are we going to deal with people who don't want to get vaccinated? For whatever reason, how are we going to deal with them? Because I don't know if you've noticed, but this week, they seem pretty pissed.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, there's a big dislike towards the Labour government, Jacinda. And they're following around. She came to Auckland today. She went out to Fulton or some kind of engineering firm. They admitted in their speech to her they didn't like the Labour government. They're there for business, and so she stood through that remarkably well, and she survived the first Auckland walk around.
I think it was smart and you clearly see from what happened last week when they realised that this movement and the anger behind it was generating and moving at a rate far quicker than they thought. They completely pulled the public itinerary for the Auckland walk around. They didn't tell people where they were going first. It was only a select handful of media, and they did that because they feared she was going to get, receive the kind of threatening response that we saw in Wellington, and there was clearly a feel that they did not want that to happen. And also with the radicalism and with people feeling so crazy and angry, it just takes one lunatic to do something stupid,
But
the whole bloody shooting match is on.
Bombs the freedom fighters, the anti-vaxxers, the vaccinated apartheid. They have mobilised. There are thousands.
They have. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, you got some Destiny's Church in there. You can spot those guys, spot the Māori wardens miles away. But you do have normal-looking people in there who are pushing normal-looking kids, holding.
But did you see the neo-Nazi guy as well?
Oh, the neo-Nazi.
What was it? Chapman, who's been
Carl Chapman.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think a couple of things. Let's not forget that more people got vaccinated on that day than protested across the entire country. Let's remember that. Let's remember that we are almost now, as an entire country, 90% vaccinated. At least one shot, which is one of the highest rates in the world right now. These people are very angry, and I think that what's caught everyone off guard is the level of fury they feel. Now, for desperate people who might be losing their jobs next month, if they're a nurse or a teacher or in some sort of essential role and they're not happy about being mandatorily vaccinated, look, that's going to be a blow, right? In an economy like this, with the prices and the costs always rising, that's going to be hard. If you're a Jesus is my vaccine sort of person, you see Jacinda as the Antichrist. If you're a QAnon lunatic, you see her as Nazi Germany. I've never seen so many Nazi swastikas at a New Zealand protest march. And how confused was it? You had Māori sovereignty flags with MAGA, with Trump's MAGA flags. I mean, this is an intellectually confused fuckwittery at its worst. And the problem is, it's a lot of people who don't understand science, and they're very angry and frightened.
Hey, Bombs, can I just say that the MAGA hat's taken on a new twist now? It's make Ardern go away.
Well, that's
why they're wearing it.
And that's the line. But I think that the anger and the fury that we saw, it's understandable. And we don't want to be in a situation where we have to amputate 10% of our population, right? They're New Zealanders. We want to see them prosper and live and move on. But we're in this situation right now where we have to implement these mandatory sanctions, and you can't keep people who have actually done what they've been asked and got the double vaccination. You can't ask them to just remain in de facto house arrest for the rest of the year. That's come on.
No.
Yeah,
and
but
look, surely that these people don't represent everyone who is pro-choice or not wanting to be vaccinated. These are, a few extremists, who have gone completely the other way, but they're certainly making themselves known. I mean, what is the alternative here? What are the options? Like, there's not much you can do other than keep pushing forward and hope that they stop, making so much noise at some point, right? What's the strategy?
I'm sorry, I just want to bump in and before you bomb you pick that up, please. I can't allow the freedom fighters to all be put in the loony bin. There are some actually good people in there, but their problem is they want freedom like tomorrow, which you just can't have. And you just can't argue with these people. Now, there's some level-headed people in there that have blown it because they want everything to go back to normal, like everything. International travel, the lot. If anyone has got a freedom they don't have, they want it, and they want it now, which is simply impossible.
Look, I think you're absolutely right. There are people in this protest movement are in there for absolutely legitimate rights. Okay, You have the absolute right and fundamental right to refuse a medicine. If you do not want it, for whatever crazy reason, you don't have to take it. And we don't want to have a country where people are held down and forcibly injected, right? It's not the New Zealand. That wouldn't be a democracy worth fighting for. So I think that there absolutely are some people who are justified in this position. But what we saw in Wellington was a public health emergency. This is in the middle of a pandemic. You're not allowed to be doing that. For you to have that view is one thing. For you to then go out and try and make other people not take the vaccine because you've got some crazy ideas about it, we're not going to put up with that. And I think that the reality is that once we move beyond, once we hit 90% double vax and we move into a new reality and a new world where you're going to have to show your passport vaccine to get into a club or a restaurant or to socialise, I think the pressure on people who haven't had it will start to build, and they'll think, well, maybe I should, maybe it's not such a big problem. And as we go along and we don't see major negative health effects from the vaccine sort of explode out, I think that you will get people starting to reconsider it. And the other thing that I think is going to really drive a lot of the anti-vaxxers into taking the vaccine is, let's not forget, the bloody sickness. I mean, COVID's one skill is being able to find out anyone who is unvaccinated and hurt them. Now, it's going to bounce off most of us because we've got the double vax. But if you're in one of these little communities or this little group, we don't believe in vaccinations, well, wait till you start falling and those, and then, your friend or your family members start getting it. Once those things and those dynamics start to kick in, they're going to start getting vaccinated.
And I think it's one of those things, it's easy to say people have these crazy ideas or they're trying to talk other people into things, but whatever that person thinks to be true, to them, even if it seems crazy to somebody else, to them that seems like the right thing. No one's crazy maybe some people are, but in their own terms, they believe that to be true. And so they think they're going out and helping, and being passionate or whatever it is, or saving people. They think they're doing, and you see it in, for example, when we did this interview with Vinnie Eastwood, he was absolutely beside himself. He felt so deeply that he was helping and he just wanted to save people, and he was so scared for everybody, and he felt like he was carrying this huge load on his shoulders of just trying to fight the system that wanted to hurt people. And I think it's when there's that sort of emotional stuff going on for people as well. So it gets really blown out of proportion. Anything with that much adrenaline and emotional stuff going on, and they think that something really bad is happening, it's all this fear is like, it gets really, really out of control. And I think that's what we're starting to see with these people going out and, rallying.
Vinnie Eastwood is like he's straight out of the WWF, isn't he? He kind of reads the room. What do these guys want? They want fireworks. They want tears, and he just serves it up on a platter. He's amazing.
But you know what I'm saying? So you talk to somebody who has a different viewpoint from you. No matter how crazy you think it is, it's like having a fight, right? You have a fight with a friend or a lover or whatever it is, and you're like, why don't you get this? What the hell's wrong with you here? And they're going, I'm right, man. I don't know what you're talking about. And you're going, but how? It's because when you're looking from your point of view, you truly believe that to be 100% truth.
Yeah.
So getting
Sophia,
anything else through to them.
We've got to go to Vinnie Eastwood. I mean, Benny Mack, our fact checker. Whoopsie. G'day, mate.
Okay. Great conversation, guys. I hear what you were saying there about Bishop Brian Tamaki. There's nothing, I heard Tova O'Brien say this on the news the other day. I love it when people pronounce the name of the church Destiny's Church. It makes me think that Beyonce and Brian are working together for the Lord. It makes me think of Destiny's Child.
Amen.
So that's the only fact that I've got, but it makes me very
mate.
happy, especially when.
Is that actually written down on your pad there, or is that just kind of
Oh,
off
yeah.
the top? Me too. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Working your way through Destiny.
Destiny's
Yes.
Church makes me think that
Okay.
Beyonce and Brian are working together for the Lord.
And you've written it in
Fabulous.
longhand. I like that.
Love that.
So
Thank
as
you.
not to confuse yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. We'll see you on the other side.
Check
Thank you,
that
mate.
box.
Hey, I've got to.
So Bomber,
you got to recap that question for Bombs.
you get what I'm saying, right? Like, so what part of that I wonder? Two things I'm asking. You know, do you think they'll sort of just settle down as it all becomes, our freedoms become larger, and then they go, oh yeah, okay, I probably just want a bit of that freedom. If that's really what they're asking for, they're going to go and get vaccinated. But how much of this is the mental health stuff coming into play?
I think that everything you're saying is absolutely valid, and I think that what's exacerbating it is that you've had a large chunk of the population now locked under house arrest in their homes for almost 13 weeks. We've seen domestic violence spiking. We've seen food banks at 500% capacity in terms of demand. We've seen a spike in terrible crimes that have been going on, people losing their shit. People freaking out. This is not a usual or normal time for anyone. It's incredibly emotional. People are very angry. They're frightened. If you think you're going to lose your job next week because you don't want to get a vaccination, that is going to freak you out and have real world consequences. And I think that we haven't really gotten our head around the psychological impact of this. And what isn't helping is you have unregulated social media channels that are allowing the craziest, most nutty ideas to be espoused and pushed. It's very difficult being able to have a debate with someone who doesn't believe that 2 + 2 = 4. In most times, in most politics, right? It's we should have higher taxes, we should have lower taxes. Small government, big government. I mean, these are arguments and debates backwards and forwards, but they're all had within a world where everyone believes 2 + 2 = 4. When you step into this QAnon world, the basic argument or the conspiracy is the entire planet is being run by a shadowy cabal of satanic pedophiles who are using the vaccine via 5G technology to infect everyone so that a shadowy one world government can come out of the UN. Now, I'm sorry, but that's insane. And I think that it's latched onto the alternative health people who don't want to believe.
Right.
And they don't want to believe. And they've all gone down this great big rabbit hole. And we've all got friends who this has happened to, and they'll talk about it incessantly. The way guys at gyms talk about crypto coin, on and on they go. And I just think that we haven't understood the full psychological ramifications. We haven't seen the full economic ramifications of this crisis yet. And it's a problem the entire planet's grappling with, because as countries and governments slowly try to open up, they're finding mass problems with Delta just getting out there and reinfecting, and a lot of these countries having to step back into lockdowns and step back into. We're lucky because we had a staggered vaccination program, so all of the most vulnerable people in New Zealand, anyone over 65, because remember, COVID, when it's a serious issue, hospitalization or death, it's mostly an old person. I mean, you've got to be 55
or underlying sort of.
You're going to be old and you're going to have a lot of underlying problems, right? I mean, it's not the case for everyone, but certainly for a double vaccinated population. So the virus is trying to find its way back into New Zealand, but it can't find the most vulnerable hosts. So we're lucky, and fingers crossed, we could get through this and get to the other side by January, and we could be looking at a much better future moving forward without those necessity of lockdowns. But it's going to be a hard.
But Mr. Brightside, I have to stop you there.
Yep.
It looks to me that we've lost control because there's a lot of unlinked cases out there, everything's going to be flung open. School goes back to school next week. All students can go back to school from Wednesday.
Well, I
And
think
then
they're doing staggered stuff
following-
to reduce.
Following that, we're going to be opening hospitality, and it's going to be Christmas time, and people have been sinking the piss big time. So we're already breaking rules. We're already going into people's houses, having dinner parties. It's on. And I don't want to pick on poor old South Auckland, but it's just going to take some pretty big tangi or celebration there, and and there's a lot of there are high rate of unvaccinated. It can even explode. So do you concede it's out of control at the moment? We don't have control of this now. We're opening everything up because we're under pressure.
There's always going to be a point, right?
DM me address because I have that box and I'm going to send it to you. So still work and I will. Go and find your name and just message me on my account. I don't know if you know how to do that. On my Instagram, it's there. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I was just going to say, have you been watching what they're doing with that pilot? They're testing, people doing home quarantine. Do you know what's happening with that?
Somehow the government are reluctant on that. Bomber, are you back now? Sorry, we had your internet drop out.
Okay, am I back?
You are back now. I got you there.
Yep, you're back. I was just saying to Thane, what's happening with this pilot for the self-isolation on return from travel? Do you know what's going on there? Just trying to get some...
Yeah, well, they're trying. I mean, again, this is part of the reality of it becoming endemic. Right now, if you have COVID and you're not serious, you stay at home. We're seeing real problems with Ministry of Health being able to connect with those people once they're in their homes. They're supposed to be doing it in a matter of hours. It looks like they're taking at least 2 days to contact people. You've had this spate of people dying once they went home. The Andrew Little this evening in a bombshell announcement came out and said they don't have enough capacity, and that's incredibly concerning because they were supposed to have capacity for 1,000 a day, and we're just seeing just over 100 a day. So if they're falling
capacity for what?
If they're falling down at 100 a day, and they were telling us last year that we can handle 1,000 a day, that's a serious problem.
Okay, so for people to be quarantined in their own homes, we thought we could do 1,000 people coming in a day. You were saying we can't even do 100.
Yeah, that's bad news. That's bad news.
That's really shit.
Yeah, that just came out tonight. So that's a real head kick, and it comes back to the bureaucracy of the hospitals and a real question mark over those DHBs.
Oh man, that's
not great.
Stink.
Any questions for Martin, please let us know through the comment section and we can put them to it. You all think this is a deadly pandemic going on. Okay, obviously someone's from the other side. Hey, can I ask, Bombs, what do you think Labour have got wrong? Because everyone knows that you're very pro the Labour government.
Well,
what do you think they haven't nailed?
Oh, well, look, it's a once-in-a-century pandemic. Most governments aren't set up for that. We've got a lot of contingency plans, but we haven't had anything like this big sort of happen all at once. And it's been a learning curve for a lot of people. So I think there have been, right from the beginning, the question mark was, could a public health system that has been underfunded for 30 years, could it really step up and do what needs to happen right now? And that was always a question mark over the bureaucracy. I think they've moved as fast as they can, as fast as a government is able. I think that the stats prove themselves. I think in the UK, for every they've had one death in the UK for every 470 citizens. In New Zealand, I think we've had one death for every 175,000. So the stats speak for themselves, right? And I know that we like to get shitty and critical of Jacinda, but sweet Jesus, those are the sort of stats that you'd hope anywhere.
We have been completely locked down, though, essentially, for so.
So you'd expect,
but it is. But you would. But at the same time, again, like we say all the time, who wants to be in that job? Can you imagine the pressure? And I think at the end of the day, there's only so many choices that you can make and moves that you can make. You don't have a full chessboard to work with here. You're in the middle of a pandemic. You got to do what you got to do. And what if she was a man? Would people go easier on her and feel comforted by her leadership? I don't know.
It's really like you listen to the criticism, because that's your job, right? You listen to people's arguments. And okay, well, what is it you're saying? Am I missing something in my own analysis? What is it that you're bringing that I'm not seeing? And so much, like a good 90% of the criticism thrown at Jacinda is demeaning, misogynist bullshit. It's got nothing to do with the job that she's doing. It's got nothing to do. It's because she's a young woman, and you're listening to some of the stuff that people say, and you just go, "You've just got a problem with a young woman, dude." Like over 50 guys who love to call her Cindy think that's the most hilarious satirical thing in the world. I mean, she's the Prime Minister. She has guided us through a terrorism attack, a volcanic eruption, this bloody pandemic. She's kept most of the country together. I think she's done as good a job as anyone could have. And if you look at the alternative, sweet Jesus, if National Law Act had been in power when this pandemic had broken out, the country would have gone to rack and bloody ruin by now,
Yes.
Zach makes a good point here. Zach said, still, did they celebrate too long after beating it first? Seems there were enough plans to implement once Delta. I think you mean weren't enough plans to implement? I don't, essentially, did they celebrate? I think they did. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think that we should have already rolled out this vaccination thing faster. I think we should have been more proactive. We knew it was coming. We didn't get on top of it. And that's why we're dragging our asses to the finish line right now.
Look, and you're absolutely right. And part of the problem there was we're a small country on the asshole end of the world. None of the pharmaceutical companies were going to come charging down here with a cargo ship full of bloody doses, right? We're just a small country. We got what we could when we could. And most of the rollout of the vaccine, the problem has been just supply. But now we've got...
Look, I think she could have worked harder, Bomber. Let's be honest. She didn't go and meet with the farmers and try and get as much as we could as fast as we could.
Look, that's certainly John Key's argument. His argument is, well, you could have gone to Pfizer and gotten a better deal. And Pfizer have come and said, we don't work that way, sweetheart. We're not. It's not you can turn up with a bag load of cash and just pass it under the table and it doesn't work.
But we were not in talks with them early, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I mean, again, with that, you've got to remember, we were one government amongst a whole bunch of other governments who were being pitched different ideas and different vaccines from a whole bunch of different pharmaceutical industries and companies. And our experts, people who have actual medical degrees and know what they're doing, real scientists, they had to sit down and sift through. Okay, shit. What does this do? What does this do? Is this the right one that's going to be for us? What does? Can you get it around the country? Some of these vaccines.
But I mean, they've been watching this from afar for a year, though. Let's be honest. We were all walking around, enjoying our freedoms, thinking we were all hot shit. And I do think we were slow. I think we were slow. We could have been faster for sure.
I don't disagree, but I would point to a whole bunch of other structural factors that made going fast almost impossible.
Can I just quickly get to some of the messages here? Read the book, How to Lie with Statistics. That's in some of Bill Gates' speeches. Stephen, nice to have you back there, Mr. McGuinness. Health system has been underfunded in the 4 years since Cindy has been Cindy has been the PM. Stop living in the past. What else we got here? Dylan Calder. Wow, is this on Twitch? Yes, it is, sir. Jonathan saying, hi, Selena. Jonathan's back with, can the PCR test be used for diagnosis? Should have rolled out vaccines quicker. Haha, yikes. Zach's replying to Stephen McGuinness. Where does money for health systems come? Taxes. We vote with our wallets. And we soon aren't voting for more taxes. Okay, yeah. So it's a lot of people. There's a lot of people talking about this.
And how many dollars does it take to do another little bed in a unit? Did we work out the other day there, Bomber? What was that? A couple of million? You got a couple of beds. So how much would we need to revamp the health system, do you think?
Well, and look, this is absolutely happening. One of the things that Labor have said is having all of these different health boards is a major problem when you've got a pandemic like this. So one of the things that Labor are moving forward with is a nationalised health system, so that it's all over the country.
So, dumb question here.
Yeah.
So with the DHBs, have they got decision-making power over their space?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So
It was part of the neoliberal movement that the fourth government brought in about 30 years ago, where it said, well, we won't have national bodies responsible for things. We will return the power to the locals, and the locals have, and so there's money divvied up, and the local boards get to run these things. But of course, the problem is when you're trying to run things as sophisticated as a health system or a water system, you actually need specialists, and you need to have a funding model that is a national-sized focus rather than just regional or local. And so part of the problem we've had with the rollout in the country is some DHBs are just absolutely hopeless, just like some local councils are absolutely hopeless. And if you don't have a larger body that's able to fund itself better and also provide better service, if you don't have a national control over that, then you just get all sorts of uneven bumps all over the place. And that's the system we've got now. And Labor have already made promises that they're going to make fundamental changes to that.
How political do you think the move to underwrite rhythm and vines was and other big events? You know, do the Labor government wants to make sure everybody's happy and putting smiles on their dials?
I think that there is a well, Clark was certainly loved rhythm and vines back in the day, didn't he? So I would imagine that he would have reminded her of how important it was as a social thing. I think it was a smart move. It gives some certainty to the industry, and I think that that's the thing that everyone, if you're in a hospo, just individuals at home, everyone wants certainty. And I think that by giving those big summer festivals that kind of underwriting, it's provided a level of certainty, so they can at least plan it. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, well, they'll get an underwrite.
But I mean, how do they decide who gets that and who doesn't? You know, when does that sort of become a problem?
That's being written, or that's being set up for every major festival for this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So they'll do 90% of your total bill. I think Rhythm and Vines is like $5 million.
Yeah.
So, and they can only use that if it doesn't go ahead, right?
Yeah.
But
at least it gives them certainty to put them on. I mean, if there is, of course, you know, one of the messages that the government's trying to sell people is if you get vaccinated, you've got this new world that you can go out to. Well, they wouldn't go and get vaccinated if they're hearing all of that world's being cancelled and they can't get into it. So it's an
exactly
than anything.
Yeah.
Why are IRD being assholes and really questioning? You know, there's a lot of weirdness going on there. What you can do this, but you can't do that. You just bought a business and it hasn't been going for a month, but you still need to get the money because the business has got, you know, being toppled by COVID. You can tell that IRD is really tightening up now these days. Before they were just kind of like, yep, people need this money, let's get it out to them, and they're handling things with kindness. Now everything's being scrutinized, and it's not fair.
Like IRD have become a xenomorph, you know, like a space alien sort of mutated out. Yeah, that you were right. For about 12 months there, they were very, very kind, very, very gentle, very, very sort of, okay, well, things are going terrible, and will be gentle. I think what has happened, however, over the last 3 months is there is this terrible feeling that the economic backlash or whiplash to COVID this time around is going to really hurt the government books. And I think that they're starting to sharpen their knives a little. And they're saying, well, we need to start prodding people to pay this or to pay that. So I think that you're going to see a much more hungry IRD. And of course, the balancing act of that is a lot of people just haven't been making money. And so you can drive them into the wall, and you can bankrupt them, or you can have all of their assets seized. But that's going to spark its own sort of panic. So I think
absolutely.
Before we go to Benny Mack, fact checker, can I say she's got one more term, right? She's going to win the next election, and she could resign, going "fuck it, I'm going to go run the UN or Hong Kong Bank or whatever the hell." Jacinda, you reckon Labor government have got another term?
I think that personally for her, I think that she would very much like to match Helen Clark.
Yes,
and terms. But also, beating Helen Clark would also be a lot of fun, right? And that would set her in a pantheon of leaders who served 4 terms. And that's a unique thing. After the 4th term, I certainly think the UN would be calling. But, 3 terms, I think she can do 3. I think that she's certainly got 4 in her. And I think it's possible to even do 5. She's that light. She's like, when you put her, honestly, you put her in opinion polls, people on the left and the progressive side, they love her.
There's a lot of people who are loving the ACT guy. He's really.
But the problem for the ACT guy, this is the problem for David. Yes, he's at 16%, which is unique for ACT, and they've never been that high. But they're cannibalising it all from National. So every time they go up, they're taking National down. So the total number on the right hasn't gone anywhere, right? So the majority still back Labor Greens.
Okay. We'll be picking up in a couple of seconds, Bomber. Benny Mack, fact checker, what do you got?
Thane, as you were saying, you had some comments about the IRD and some of the tactics that they've been implementing. One that sort of really gets it just ticks me off, this one. You know how they're going to change to this new sort of level system towards the end of the month? And then they also announced that they're going to be bringing in more support for small business by doubling the payment, okay? If you look at how many times they're actually going to make that payment, it's probably only going to be 1 or 1.5 2-week period. And they also, on the original wording, it said that small businesses would be supported until New Zealand returned to level 1. They've rechanged the whole wording, the whole structure around the levels, and also this whole payout for the resurgence payment.
That sounds sneaky, doesn't it?
No, it's very cunning.
Okay. Cunning. Thank you very much, mate. I love the cheesy laugh at the end of it too. That really does.
Well, it's interesting.
What do you say to that, Pomps?
Well, I mean, their hope is that once people are able to get back out and shopping, you've had so much pent-up savings, right? So much pent-up frustration to spend. The second they open that out, those retail shops, they'll start seeing money come through the door. So
I don't know that people have been saving, though, have they? Because they haven't necessarily been earning.
Well, I mean, for those in the middle classes who have been working from home, this hasn't been too terrible, right? And they're probably
right.
And they haven't gone for that. I mean, we spend, what is it, something like $15 billion in overseas travel? Well, none of that's been happening, right? People having to stay at home. So they have got, some people, certainly those who are going to be consumers, have got enough cash. I mean, and you saw at Sylvia Park for God's sakes. People so desperate to go shopping because they're so addicted to consumerism, they were lining up outside the bloody shoe shop for 2 days.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
People have money they want to spend, and I suppose the government will only continue those wage supports until they have to. It's not like a never-ending money machine. But
Steve says 5 terms, you're dreaming, 0 chance. Also, Zach Cooper, Bomber, do you think she's achieved what she would have wanted by now? It takes a long time to make considerable changes, and there is a lot left to do.
That is such a good question, and I can tell you now, no, I think she's horrified and very, very angry at the lack of real progress on a whole bunch of issues which are very, very dear to her heart. And I think that this comes back to the problems they had in 2017. They didn't expect to win 2017. They didn't expect to win a majority in 2020, and so they had no reform program for the public service. I don't think what a lot of people don't understand about New Zealand politics. It's one thing to win an election and to go to Wellington and run parliament. It's a completely other thing to actually force the public service to do what you want. Remember, are people who are on 7-figure salaries. They just sort of sit and listen to the politician, feed them bullshit, and they just continue to run their own little cliques in their own glass palaces, doing their own thing. And so if you don't control the bureaucracy, you can't get things done. Let me tell you the fundamental difference between National and Labour. National MPs are all managerial pricks. They're all bullies and they're all nasty assholes who you wouldn't, piss on if they were on fire. However, they're terrifying and they know how to stab the public service repeatedly in the face. The problem with Labour is they want to invite everyone into a hui. Everyone sits down and has a cuddle. There's a menu in Te Reo of vegan food that you can buy with a side order of pronouns. And the public service isn't scared of that. They go, well, we don't have to do anything then, do we? Just give us money and we'll continue with our own little pet projects and we'll see you in 3 years maybe. So National gets things done because they're awful bullies. Labour just want to give everyone cuddles. And so the bureaucracy doesn't respect them. Bugger all happens. You see it in almost every single, whether it's mental health, whether it's education, whether it's public health. The difference between what we think we're getting and what's actually happening is too great,
Mates,
definitely
they're
agree
all
with
like
that.
this. That's why I comment
And
there,
it's
and
funny
there is
though,
no
you go,
opposition.
well, what is the better choice then, Do you get like shitter policies, but ones that get pushed through? Or do you get better policies that don't actually happen? Like, where's the win?
Well, here's how you do it. You just get better bloody strategists, right? You have, and you sell to the people of New Zealand, brothers and sisters, here are the problems. Here is the stuff that we're going to do to make that happen. And in the first 100 days, we will pass this into law and we will make sure it bloody happens. And you have good strategists who pick the policy up, make sure it's ready for the legislator, and then you have your own people go into those public services and report back on whether or not the stuff's getting done. You actually have to have a strategy. You can't just waltz in and go, hey, and get nothing
And so
done.
you're thinking that the reason that they didn't have that with Labour for these two is because they didn't expect to win. So they weren't prepared.
Yeah. So
which is not really great anyway.
No one had a 100-day plan. No one had a list of things that we're going to pass. We're going to do this. We're going to, none of that. It was, now we're in power. Oh, God, what do we do now? Oh, I don't know. What does the manifesto say? Oh, we're going to do this. Okay, we'll get around to that. And then you lose all the impetus and the momentum, right? You've got 100 days. That's when it counts. It's the 100 days to get it through Parliament and then defend it for the first 3 years. That's
the same pattern as what's happening with COVID. We're dragging our asses past the finish line. Do you know what I mean? It's the same experience.
Yeah. We're not getting anything done quickly, but COVID's probably a little.
It's very frustrating.
It's a virus.
It's very frustrating.
In terms of politics, this is what you got to do to win. You actually have to have a 100-day plan, and they didn't either time.
Will they next time?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, this is the thing. Everyone gets so caught up in just trying to win the election. There's no forethought of, well, what happens the day after the election? What happens the day after the day after the election? What happens the day after the day after the day? You know, you should have your policy ready to pass on the first day of Parliament. And then put all your resources in making sure the public service actually carries it out.
And isn't that their job? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really getting things done, you know, and then that's the whole point. So Steve says strategy like 10,000 new houses a year.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, right. They didn't have any of that ready.
And also the houses, can I just say, and it's going to sound entitled. I mean, look, I don't own a home, so don't get angry at me for this. But would you buy one of those shitholes in Flatbush that are like this close to the neighbours, and you just, you know, and it's still like $1.5 to $2 million, and you're going, it's not for me.
And here's how I would fix the housing problem overnight. Here's what I would do. Using the Public Works Act, right? I would seize all of the golf courses in Auckland and Wellington, half them, so there are no more 18-hole bloody. There are only 9-hole.
They don't need 18 holes.
And
they don't need it.
You build on that incredible prime land, which is near all of the transport hubs. You build state houses and owner-occupier first home buyers in beautiful manicured bloody settings, and you would overnight have all of the housing land you require in the central cities, in Auckland, in Wellington, in Christchurch, and you could build better.
Rent to own.
Can't they afford to hire a fantastic designer and architect? You know what I mean? Who the hell are these people hiring to turn out this garbage that I'm seeing when I drive around our beautiful nation? It's like, what the hell is that? Does anyone want to live in that? And then you see it 5 years later and you go, oh man, I didn't think it could get any worse. That looks absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
It's all stained. It's, you know what I mean? And you're like, nope. Why don't they get architects and things to design it?
Right? Why can't we have sustainable, environmental, safe, warm, designed houses that are beautiful in the 21st century? You can't tell me that we don't have the expertise. You can't tell me we don't have the vision. We do. We just don't have the nerve to say to people in wealthy suburbs, you're not going to have that bloody golf course anymore, asshole. We're going to give it to the people. And because
you could have half.
Do that, nothing happens.
You could have half a golf course, you know.
Yeah,
that's
fine. You have 9 holes. There you go.
9
the other
holes.
half is for the people.
That's fair.
It makes sense. And you know what? It might not be the right answer, but at least you've got a bloody plan, Bomber. You know what I mean?
You know, yes, and this is the thing. How are you going to build 30,000 new state houses? How are you going to build 30,000 new houses for first-time buyers? How are you going to help generations actually get into the property market so that they have that capital asset in the back, like the boomers do, as you go into your older ages? If we're not being inventive with new ideas, then we're never going to fucking get anywhere in this country.
And also, we're very attached to our property, us Kiwis. We want to own a home. It's a thing that we have, you know. We're not very progressive. We want to own it. Okay, it might not be a quarter acre anymore these days, but, you know, we want to have it. It feels safe and yummy. And I understand that. But what about if we couldn't do the golf courses? Where the hell is a bullet train? Because that could be useful. You know, could we go Japan style?
Well, yeah, we could all live in Hamilton, right?
Many.
Correct.
Oh, my
Hamilton,
God.
high colours, Whangarei.
Okay,
Where's the
Benny,
plan
what
on
have you got
that?
there, quickly?
Oh, you're going to have to play the intro, mate.
Oh, mate, okay, he wants an official
You're
intro,
already
guys.
here.
This is big.
So much to break
Oh
down.
my God. All right.
Sophia Mantell, I completely agree with you. What you're saying, you're very passionate about these goddamn modern day ghettos. All I'm seeing is nothing but bike lanes and disposable $200 warehouse bikes. Why don't we carve up all the motherfucking parks and golf courses in the country? Everybody can live on top of themselves in modern day ghetto hell towns. We can't just test the shit for diseases if people live in the country. We've gotta get people living in the cities, in mega cities, so we can track them from the minute they wake to the second they sleep. I know because Vinny Eastwood told me last week. Exciting times. And yes, motherfucking bullet trains right up the fucking wazoo. Let's spend $20 billion on that. Let's get it from France. And then lie to the French like the Aussies do.
Thank you very much. That was bloody good. Thanks, buddy.
It might have been his best monologue yet.
Yeah.
But look, I do think there's something to be said for the fact that there's no solution being provided. I don't know. I guess we're COVID focused at the moment, and that's fair. But yeah, look, Kiwi Bear says, where did that message go there? Oh, Thane, what's happened? Oh, right there. It would only work with Townhouse, Coro Street, Sardine Can, Hobsonville Point as a blueprint of the Westfields of Sydney Sustainable UN Government Plan. Just saying, yeah, a bit shit. What if we went up? Could you go up? Could you build houses in the sky? I suppose that's an apartment building, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if we take the golf courses, absolutely. It's about land, right? Where is the largest open amount of land in any city? It's fucking golf courses, particularly.
Is that really?
Yeah.
In all seriousness.
Yeah. And there are ridiculous arrangements all over Auckland where the ratepayers end up paying like $2.5 million for a couple of golf courses each year. Screw that! Give them to poor people. And you're right, there isn't any big ideas, right? Why is it that you guys have to work your asses off and get taxed for your wages every single day when it's the transnational corporations who are making all this money? Look at the banks this week, right? Just over this week. They all called in. Four major banks took $6 billion in profit in 1 year. That's the New Zealand banks. Why don't we have a financial transaction tax, a 0.001 tax on every single financial transaction, and ping those bloody banks and
they
take
should be
some of that
pinged.
off them?
Because, we have to pay for that stupid FPOS tax. I want to use PayPass because I have to use PayPass because I can't fucking touch anything because of COVID. Well, why aren't they getting that? Why do we have to pay that?
The reality is you have to use a bank in modern society, right? So these are monopoly rentals. These are Australian banks just greedily sucking $6 billion out of us collectively every single year. Well, why don't we hit them with a financial transaction tax so that your schools can be properly funded, so that the hospitals can be properly funded? Why is it that you and me have to keep paying more and more tax when these bloody corporations are walking away with billion-dollar profit margins? Fuck.
Do you get exhausted, though? Like, I feel exhausted already. We're talking about COVID. It seems rubbish. We're talking about doing, going overseas and coming home and isolating on your own. Nah, that's shit. Now we're talking housing. It's terrible. There's nothing. We're talking money. That's a scary proposition. IRD is going to come for you. There's just, where are the silver linings here? Do you know what I'm saying? Are you frustrated? Are you exhausted?
How are we going to rebuild back from this if we don't reset the entire tax agenda and go after the large corporations? We need to be kinder to individuals and cruel to corporations. I don't care if the CEO can't afford a golden jet this year. Too fucking bad. If it means that I can give if it means that the Child Starship Hospital has all of the resources they need, who cares if these bankers aren't pulling in $1 billion a year? Fuck them. But we don't have a government with the balls to actually take those buggers on. What we've got is low-hanging fruit and domestic stuff with no big ideas to actually tackle the real bastards in society. And that's corporations. It's not you. It's not criminals. It's not the little people. It's the big titans who continually set the entire game up so that they win. This is what we need to change. And there's no debate about that. There's no discussion. No. Well, why are we allowing the banks and all these rich mega corporations off the hook? Particularly when you see a lot of those mega corporations, be it Facebook, be it Amazon, they are forcing the closure of so many other businesses or making you dependent upon them.
Yeah.
We need to go after these buggers.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
just don't understand why we're not. This makes absolute sense to me.
Okay,
Why didn't
They must
National?
be putting money in. They must be
I'll tell you
putting
what,
money in.
I don't watch Seven Sharp or The Project ever, but tonight I just thought, I wonder what they are talking about. What are the 7 p.m. current affairs shows of this country talking about? On one, it was some bullshit promotion for another show that they're launching on their network. They did some Pepsi bloody nonsense thing with Nadia Lim. We're going to talk about how her organic farm works. And on the other channel, they were cutting each other's hairs. Jeremy and fucking Ellery were cutting each other's hairs. And I was watching this going, this is current affairs in New Zealand. This is what we're talking about. This is why we're so fucking stupid. No one's actually pointing out the bleeding obvious. We're all fighting amongst each other, and the actual buggers up there, they're laughing at us. And they're walking away with billion-dollar profit margins. Again, for the 10th time. Fuck them.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that, isn't it?
Their profit is how much we're lending just to get us through
Right?
COVID. It's unbelievable.
Right? Screw them.
Yeah, that's not on.
Hey,
And it sucks that that's what our current affairs amounts to now, is really just, it's just keeping everybody numb. Don't worry about it.
We're pissed off with each other. We're hunting things down that we might have said on Facebook 3 years ago and going, oh, you're a terrible person, and all this nonsense. And we're allowing these buggers to get away with bloody murder.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just quickly ASB Bank is the sponsor of 7 Sharp Australia. Yeah. So, I mean, that's why that's happening.
Right. So we're going to tax that. Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. No.
We're going to tell everyone what you're doing. Oh, never mind.
With that weird watch company couple. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
Yes.
Makes about as much sense as that Westpac ad where that large weird creature comes out like the Yeti.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, that was weird. And it built that house
and runs off with them. I'm thinking, is this some sort of pedophilic monster? What's the moral of the story here? The moral of the story from Westpac is the only chance you have of buying a house is if a magical mystery monster comes out of the bush and fucking builds you one. That's the moral, New Zealand. Good night.
Good night, matey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bomber. Yeah. It's always great to have you.
Oh my god, that was a good session. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, man. I just feel just a bit sad about it.
We're being fucked over by our current government, the government before, and the corporations. But anyways, we can't do anything about it. Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Yeah. Guys, fucking great show. That one just rated its tits off, if you're allowed to say that. It was rating off the clocks, and we just got our Colmar Brunton stats back. We just paid like $50,000 to get all the statistician stuff done. You guys, awesome show. Bomber, off the charts, and fuck yeah, you guys are doing so good. Like, what a week, you know.
Oh yeah!
What a pump up! You're a great pump upper.
Yeah,
we can't wait to see what you're going to do next.
Benny Mack's going to break it all down and do Talking Smack with Benny Mack. Benny, have a great show tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show, man. I've taken a few more notes. I mean, the Rhythm and Vines, has been underwritten by the government. I think that's a great thing. We're going to talk about that. That's going to be off the hook. I mean, last year they had that banger remix with Ashley Bloomfield, that they remixed his social programming. I'm wondering what they're going to program them with this year. That's really, really good. I'm looking forward to that mind washing, because what's going to happen is a lot of them are going to be these children are going to be under, well, they're going to be young adults. They're going to be under really good drugs, because they're going to have sanctioned testing. So imagine that programming is going to hit real deep, and it's going to be a hell of a show this New Year's.
Fantastic.
All right.
I support it. All right, mate. I'm off. Have a lovely, we'll see you tomorrow, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
And Benny Mack is next. Now. Benny Mack is now.
Bye.
Oh, damn. We are back. Whoo-wee. We are back, and we are talking smack with your brother Benny Mack. And I've got to first off out the gate. I've just got to mention Fortune Eyewear. They've done good. They've done good things. They brought us the eyewear. It was delivered in a discreet package, a discreet little package. That's what I'm calling it. What a show! What a freaking week! Wednesday, it's 10 p.m. We're right on the dot. That was a real clean handover there. My system almost froze, but no, it held strong. Open line talkback is open 0800 80 1080, 0800 80 1080. This is open line talkback, and it's a brilliant Wednesday night, and the link is right there in the chat. You're going to need a Chrome browser for this one. If you don't have a damn Chrome browser, get on over, download it, and get involved. I mean, man, oh man, there's been some humiliating people really tripping me out on the show, on the news. I saw these, I like to call them subhuman people, camping outside the damn shopping center, trying to become the ultimate consumer. I find this kind of behavior sickening. I consider these people the worst. I consider this an act and basically an act of living. I consider this the worst in consumerism. Not only that, but it's absolutely offensive to me. I find it obtuse. I find it obtuse. I saw there was one interview there with a gentleman who just said, "We love shopping. I've been here all day. I've spent all of my money. I've got bags galore. I've got more bags than these bags. I've got a whole bunch in the car." Yeah. I find that really horrifying. That's a word. Michelle Hall, I see you. I see you in the chat. I appreciate you for calling in. This is your Wednesday show. Boom, it's the 10th of November, just like that. End of the year. 1/3 of the way through the month. Damn, everybody, any of you small business owners out there, it's coming up to the end of that 2-week period. So you're going to want to jump onto that website and sign up for your free money, free money. Snap it up. We are putting it on the tab, ladies and gentlemen. Get in if you are entitled it. Kiwi Bemaza. Thanks to Thane and Sophia. Man, oh man, that was a great show. And Bomber Bradbury, as always. I think we've got the graphic for Bomber Bradbury because, I mean, the way he comes on through and puts in work, I mean, he knows what's good. He knows what's good. He's got a lot of knowledge. But one thing I disagree with Bomber Bradbury is, no, we shouldn't be carving up the golf course, my man. Any of this sort of free space around suburbia should be kept that way. There's no need to start carving up parks and golf courses. Look, I appreciate that you may consider that golfing is an elitist sport, but trust, you don't want to start. Like, look, he also, one thing that Bomber said was that I think he said the largest land in a city for putting houses on is golf courses and parks, and that I find that factually incorrect, due to the fact that Auckland is a huge city. If he's talking about inner cities, I suppose that's right. But I feel that these cities are so damn big and they've got so much rural damn area, just 5-10 minutes drive out of the city, that you don't really need to be carving up any green space like that. It's really I think intensive housing, they need to reconsider the way that cities are being intensified. I think that's not smart. And this is my statement. We don't need intensity housing. We don't need high intensity housing in a COVID future. We gotta spread people out across the rohi. You know, we've got to get people out there. And also an interesting fact that I heard on the COVID report this week is that they've got a 0% transmission rate at supermarkets. So what the fuck? Wow. It's yeah. So anyway, 0% at the supermarkets. Keep it up. It's a great number. And keep on holding on to those golf courses and stuff. Hey, I don't play a lot of golf, but man, oh man, it's a beautiful sport. And these people lining up outside the shops, that is bogus. That is bogus behavior. Exciting times. All right, we've got our intern here backstage. She's been working actually all day. She is a volunteer worker, part of our placement program, and she's doing good. She's starting to figure it all out. At first, she came on a bit strong. Actually, she was trying to fuck the instructor, but we beat that out of her. Selena Spain, you're live on the show. Let's do an audio test. Are you there? Check. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's so accurate.
Okay, great. We've got a great take on the audio there. And how have you found the show so far?
Well, when Bomber's on, it's very intense. And
he's a
I
passionate
feel a
speaker.
bit, I just feel a bit like shaken, but he's very passionate. He's very intelligent. It's very
very
direct.
Experienced.
Yeah. So
He's been in this gig a long time.
Is it an acronym when you have like a few letters? I came up with this, a few letters, and then you read it out in full.
Yeah, that's an acronym. How about you
Acronym.
crack right into it? I'm going to prepare myself a drink. Give me a minute. You feel a bit of airspace there. I'm sure you've got lots to say.
I'm still laughing about that intro joke. Okay. So,
hilarious.
Yeah. NBSF. Who can guess what that stands for?
What is it again? NB or MB?
NBSF. And it's to do with Bomber. And it's a positive thing.
No idea. You tell us what it is. Go on.
Okay, it's no BS fabulosity.
Wow, fabulosity.
That's
great
Bomber.
Use of words there. Great use of words. So that's NBSF. No bullshit. Fabulosity. MBF. So MBB. Martin.
Yeah.
Bradbury.
It could be. You could add extra B's. Yeah.
Well, MBB because that's Martin Bomber Bradbury. MBB. Now, what an exciting time. I got a delivery. I got a delivery to Selena Spain. And it is right here. This is actually I got this through for me from China. From the good people over in China. They did a great job with this product. The engineering was great. I was able to trim my face hair with this product.
Ooh.
It was a rechargeable product, so I could do a great job. And they sent it over to me from the great people over in the world of China. And it was also worked on by Xi Jinping. And I also was working over there, working on a free trade deal with the president, the honorable president Xi Jinping of China.
That's great. You can sell
but
anything.
basically, what we've got here is I'm excited by this product. It is it's a high quality product, and it's actually I thought it was the Xiaomi brand.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever heard of that brand? Xiaomi.
Yeah, I have actually. I can't think what products, but yeah, I have heard of it. So
That is a great brand. It's a powerful brand. They make scooters. They've got other homeware.
they make phones. Yeah. So
Possibly. I know
Possibly.
Huawei make phones,
yeah.
but Xiaomi is famous for their M365 electric scooter. Now, I thought this was a Xiaomi product, but it's actually a Rewa, and it's a high fidelity item. The reason being is that it's got this is what you want to look for when you're looking for a product of this. It's got a ceramic blade. So basically what that is, it's like, this is kind of like what they're using over in, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get this product, we have got these products now. I'm testing it. It's got a motherfucking ceramic blade. What does that mean? Well, it's a titanium ceramic blade that's never going to get blunt. And look at the cutting action.
You got a good camera. What are you using?
I'm not willing to give you tech advice right now. We're in the middle of a show. I'm trying to. It's a MacBook.
Okay.
It's a MacBook. It's an old one though.
Oh,
Maybe you could buy an old MacBook. Hey, look, I'm going to pull off the protective film for the first time because I'm excited on the show. And look at that.
It's so
Ooh,
satisfying.
not a scratch on it. It looks like it was made out of. It looks like it's hypoallergenic because no one's ever touched it. But no, it's never been scratched. You know why? Because I've never thrown it around or dragged it or dropped it or bumped it. Why? Because I had the damn plastic on. Where is it? I'm excited by this. This is going to help me try and look good.
You do look good. Benny, you look lovely.
You use it, not like this. Anyway, here we go. We've got another caller, one of my favorites on the show. Welcome to the show, Hayden. If you could mute your show audio, otherwise I'll beat the living piss out of you.
How's it?
Bloody marvelous, dude. I got this, mate. It's called a Rewa, and it's a rechargeable, hand clippers. Great for keeping the face
Manscaped.
trim. Absolutely. It's got a ceramic blade. What does that mean? Well, it's never going to go blunt. But what's the coolest feature of it? And this is why I'm raving about like a raven fucking lunatic. It's USB rechargeable. Isn't that enough to make you just sort of wet your undies and need to look for a change of pants?
We'll get them out and show us.
No, I'm all good. I was just saying it's a figure of speech, and I'm in quite a control of my bladder at this stage. Give me another.
Plug?
What's that, friend?
Do you need a universal plug, or did it come with the attachment?
It came with a USB.
Oh, good. That's good. You can shave it. I mean, you can like charge it even when you're in the car if you're traveling and. Yeah. Yeah,
that's what I like to do. What I like to do is whenever I'm sort of, whenever I roll out of the shanty, I like to unfold one of those little solar panels and, charge her up and then,
do a little manscaping.
As long as all I worry about, as long as the taint's clean, I feel good to go. But we're going to move the show right along, Hayden. It's been fucking a big show, and we've got to, of course, look into the chat, and we've got to appreciate the chat because they bring us the money, not literally, of course, only figuratively in the money.
I thought you were going to say chicks.
Worthless, but we
Jonathan
are
came
live
back.
and we're online. But what I want people to do is, I don't care what channel you're watching on now. That is irrelevant to me. I'm trying to take over the platform. You're going to have to go right ahead and follow me on YouTube. Yeah, it's a shameless self-promotion, and I don't give a damn. I've been told that I can do what I like on the damn show in
So Benny,
a very confined set of circumstances. Go right ahead, caller. The line is open. This is open night talkback 180 1080. I'm Leighton Smith.
So Benny, I was just going to ask, because you call it the taint.
The gooch.
Yeah, I call it the bifkin.
Oh, that's incorrect.
Because I thought taint was American.
Gooch. The bifkin, that's highly irregular. We're going to have to go to the internet. Selena Spain, are you on a console there? Are you on a internet console? Do you have a web browser? Do you have a web browser tab accessible to you? Do you have a keyboard and a mouse handy?
Yes.
Do you have a screen and a console and you've got a laser optical mouse? That's going to work nicely. What I'm going to need you to do is navigate to a supplementary tab. Once you're in that tab, I'm going to need you to type in a URL. Are you ready? http://google.com.
Taint's American. Bifkin is Kiwi.
Okay, so let's do a search term. What would the search term be? We're going to turn to the chat for that information. Bifkin.
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 Biff it in there.
BIFKIN.
Bifkin.
So is that referred to as the Bifkin skin?
Medical.
Yeah, between the end of your balls and your arsehole is the Bifkin.
For God's sake, Hayden.
Is that a medical term?
Yes, it is.
Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We're having a great show. This is, of course, Talking Smack with Benny Mack, and we do this 6 nights a week. Why do we do it 6 nights a week? Because we're fucking idiots, and we've got nothing else better to do. Any other reasons? I can't think of any. None become apparent. Maybe we do it because we love it. Other than that, we just like to wallow in self-pity. What a great show.
I think it's someone. Do you know someone called? I might have to look.
Paintings are for sale. I'll just add.
Let me just get back to you. I'm just. Yeah.
Look, what I want to do is I'm going to make a big shout out tonight. If anybody out there, anybody countrywide, look, I'm looking I'm looking to hustle for new hustles. Selena Spain.
You're bored of me already?
We've got this. Look, just trying
if anyone's
to
keen,
up this story.
Selena Spain.
I'm building up a strong premise here, okay, guys?
Yes, go ahead, Benny. Yeah.
This is the strong premise.
Yeah.
We're starting to sell your unused, valuable, high value items. We're actually transforming the show. We found out that reality shows really big. These shows where they're sort of valuing items, they're selling items. It's a huge show. We've got a Spacies machine. Selena Spain's got a
yes, I have. Yeah, it got bid on today. It got
where are we at? Where are we at?
It got bid on. It's met the reserve.
Okay,
what's your reserve?
Reserve was like $2. So
$2. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we are already, because this is great, because we've actually Selena part of the production. She was keeping it in part of the production office, and it was taking up all this room. It was sucking up
True.
karma. It was sucking up chi from the and Zen.
Past. It's in the past.
It was then
What,
sucking
what game is it?
space.
It's an item that belongs in the past, and I must get rid of it.
Yeah, you were
So-
actually. It's an arcades style console.
Yeah, like in the fish and
with
chip shops,
Oh.
50 cents.
with basically
10
a
cents.
bogus monitor in it, a
Yeah,
bogus
that-
generic monitor in it.
Yeah, that was an old Philips monitor that I used to use flatting years and years and years and years and years and years. So many
Okay,
times.
and
What game have you
and
got?
a dangled PC. What game? Probably.
Yeah, it's been in storage for so long.
Street Fighter
Probably.
2.
Well,
Just
you know,
consider it
Space
trash.
Invaders.
And what
It's all the classics. All the classics.
Yeah, all the 20 million games. But look at
Yeah.
it this way: the fucker was taking up too much room.
Yeah.
It was stinking up the production
I'll
space.
get the link for you.
I said, get it out of here. We're paying to store it. That's a cubic meter of space where I could have a worker in there in that corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Well,
doing
it
all
needs
the
to be
subtitles.
wired up. I tested behind the screen at the top. There's where a light bulb goes. I tested that today. That doesn't
Did it work?
work. No, but I plugged
That's
in
not a
the
problem.
PC.
Look, it's a fixer upper. That's why it's
Yeah.
worth more, because you've got to
Yeah.
put something into it.
But the thing, I actually didn't list it in the right category, but it already has half a dozen watches. It was just, I was using my phone to list it and put the photos up. And it just, like,
Okay, so
their
what
layouts
category
into the...
did you list it in? Did you put it in baby
I'm going to...
clothes, baby
Yeah,
toys,
and like, baby games. Baby games.
baby games?
Miscellaneous. Did you put it in
Yeah.
miscellaneous?
And I didn't upsell, I just put it in gallery.
Did you put it in baby games?
Yeah, baby games.
Did you pay
Oh,
for?
Because, you know, babies of the future, I have to be technical.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's great to
Then
teach
you're
them
left
about
behind.
engineering, you know. Hayden,
Yeah.
you got a line of questioning there, my guy.
Yeah.
How much did she pay for the ad? Did you put it as a feature? Did you get the
No.
photos up there?
Yes,
You
I'll
know
bring
it-
up the link. Yeah. So,
Makes a difference.
I know, but sometimes I just go low key and get lots of attention.
I've also got an item to sell if people want it. Now this item, it's an item. First thing I'll say about it, it's an item. And some people will be into this item and some people won't be into this item.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's an item. And
It's an item.
exactly,
Well,
it's an
what
item.
I'd like to say is that's really refreshing on the fact that you've picked up that this is been itemized as an item, because you've got to identify the item, of course.
It's an item.
no
That's
point
all
in-
I'll say.
Yeah, it's always an item. There's always it could be an item of clothing. It could be an electronics item. It could be even listed the item. It could be listed in the wrong section with other incorrect items, and then you'd never find any item.
A lot of people have items around and they don't know where to store that item. And then some people also have items and they'll put that item on the internet, but they won't put the item in the right spot for that item.
Some people won't even take a good photo of the item, and you'll think the item's like 10 times smaller or larger than the item actually is in real life. You'll either be disappointed or excited by either a huge or a tiny item.
Yeah, and some people won't even look at the size of the item. They'll just say, they'll put a question in about the item, but the question that they put in about the item doesn't even relate to the item. But then the owner of the item that's advertising that on Trade Me doesn't give feedback about the item.
There's some weird trades
Sometimes,
where things are
Sometimes the
misleading.
government will say the item's an illegal item. Selena Spain, what are your thoughts about the item?
Well, there's a lot of misleading descriptions
Item.
on all the items of Trade Me, and sort of a lot of professional retail salespeople. That's just what they do, and that get really fucked off if you don't give them
Well, when they
feedback.
see an
Like,
item-
that's what I'm good at. Don't fuck around. Okay, Chaz. Okay, Shaz, talking to you, Shaz.
Yeah, cuzzy.
Mm.
So is that for sale, that thing that you're drinking there? Why are you drinking the item?
Well, the item. Well, funny that you say that, Benny, because the item actually fits inside this item, and
Two
the
items for
item.
the price of one item.
The item's actually of an item that I got from a guy a few weeks ago, and he didn't want the item.
Here's the
So
link.
he said to me, "You can have this item if you'd like it." And I said, "That's a really nice item." So it's about Winks, which is
How
the
much
highest.
did you pay for the item?
I got the item for free in New Zealand dollars, and
now, how much are you trying to recoup on the item if in fact it was free in the first place?
I wouldn't mind doubling or tripling my money on the item.
That's great, Hayden. That's good entrepreneurship.
So you mean you just want $3.30 free? How can you fucking triplicate free? $3 free.
Okay,
$3.30 free.
Okay, I want $5 New Zealand dollars.
Machine here. This is the item now. This is the item.
I put in capitals like I'm shouting.
I told you it was. I told you it was of questionable integrity, and stand by that statement.
I had a busy day.
Look at those photos of the item.
All I can say is that there's COVID-19 on the buttons. Okay, we're gonna keep scanning through the item. Oh, and look,
these are fabulous photos of the item.
No name on the item. Of the name of the. Maybe you could have up here generic game 3000.
Why don't you call it Space Machine item?
It's already.
Why not? Hey, look at this! Look at this! What's that?
The coin slot.
A what?
It's
a coin.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's okay? Moving right along. And what is that? Is that where Thomas Edison used to fucking plug in his car or something?
I've got to say the item photographs are fucking. These are great item photographs.
Well, this is our intern, you know. This was taking up studio space in the fucking production office.
Yeah.
I've been. You know that we. What is all these items?
I know. But
do you even know? Look, I'll tell you why the lights don't work, because there's no bulb.
You should be a professional photographer.
I tried a fresh bulb and it didn't go.
Bulb. Okay, so you tried a bulb. Okay.
That's the panel. You can close it up. There's a panel like at the back too.
Is the panel extra or is it just $2 for everything?
Well, it's just I need it picked up by this weekend.
Another photo. Why are there two photos of the panel? Or is it two panels?
Because you have to be thorough. Like, you know, I've had a busy day and I don't need to explain that to you.
Okay, so basically what you're telling me is you've got the plan view of the cover and also the isometric view.
They're the handles? Those are handles. Yeah, and they slide. Yeah.
Very thorough. Okay, so you've actually got it relisted here under music and instruments.
I don't know
under
how
smoke
that
and
happened.
bubble machines. You
put the item in the wrong.
Girl.
You put the item in the wrong place for the item.
Jiminy Christmas, you've been smoking and bubbling. What you putting under these fucking entertainment PA?
I was still pretty buzzed about last night's show, eh?
Yeah, you were. What were you on? Were you on the hookah or something? Were you putting?
No, I've never had hookah.
Indica sativa up in your hookah. Man, oh man, back to the listing because this is really freaking intrinsic. Okay, so as you said, look how much room it's taken up. We've been storing that in there. How long has it been there? For about 6 years, hasn't it?
So long, years, and
it's been there from 10 to 6 years, and what I've actually figured out that we at the production office.
Yes.
Subsidized the storage of this. So we actually need to be able to take any payment. Any money that you render from the sale needs to come through in the form of a payment to the production office.
Well, you know what?
Because you've been using all our space.
I'll donate any proceeds to the show.
So
They need to go
$2.
directly to my PayPal. They can't go to the.
Well-
they can't go to the main show.
No, it'll go
They
to
can't
your
go to the
phone.
main show
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
my sale. It's
Yeah.
my sale.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the most dollars for it.
I've got
You know,
something
if
else
anyone-
to list.
Well,
I
at the
should bid on
moment,
it. I'm gonna bid. Hey, if I bid on it
Yeah,
and I
bid.
win,
Yeah, you have to come over and pick it up this weekend.
no.
It has to be this
What I was gonna
weekend.
say, if I bid on it and win,
Drop it
can I
off.
just leave it there? And
No,
can you
it
just
has to
torture
be
me?
collected because of what's going on. Like, it has to be collected this weekend. So,
Okay, well, in that case, I refuse to bid.
okay. Well, if
So,
you bid, like other people
Principle.
might bid. Yeah.
you got $2 at the moment for the item.
Yep.
What are you hoping to
Fine.
get for it?
I don't care. I don't care.
Get rid of it. I think
Yeah.
what she wants to get is get rid of.
Because, I think someone who's really into that sort of thing, they will have that vision and
Yeah,
they'll improve
somebody who's ready to
They'll
get electric
upstruct-
shocked, a real good candidate.
it.
Someone
No,
with a
that's-
strong heart and a fucking AED handy.
So this is my
They'll
item.
fix it.
And
Automatic electronic defibrillator.
So what is this?
you can see the
Tell us
picture
about
of
your
the
fucking item.
you can see the picture of the horse on here.
Puppy. Yes. Yes.
Winks.
Oh my god. Is that 3D?
Oh.
And that's the jockey there.
Yep.
Is your camera in HD or in fucking 20p?
Yeah.
So you can see also the horse here.
Yeah.
Winks.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And
Blurry.
so you get that all of this that's on the item comes with the item. So if you want to get the full item, I'll just say that this item doesn't come with the beer.
Huh?
So
Okay.
does it,
Not
you
a
put
beer?
the beer in it? Is it a beer cooler? Is that what it is?
I'm not going to say what the item is.
It's a beer
Just put
cooler.
like a can of pop in there or something, dude.
Hmm.
Just put a genericized can of beverage in there. Sell it as the coochie. Is it called a beer coocher? Coocher la manja? No,
And
what's
if
it
you look
called? A
at the-
coolie. Culo.
Yeah.
Coolio.
Coolie.
Is
They
it
use
called
them
a
in
coolio?
LV. Yeah.
There's a
Ooh-la.
female face.
Coochie.
You can
Is
see.
it a coochie for the can? Is it a can coochie? Is it a can cooch?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a can coach. I don't want to
Can
say what the
coach.
item is, but it's a can coach.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're technically called because they've never been named professionally before, and we're trying to do a think tank on it
It's a
now.
stubby holder.
Research.
That's offensive.
So
Stubby.
you
stubby
you buy
holder.
Selena's item, you get another item, and it's only
Can.
$29.99 for the
Can.
two items.
Huh? Why isn't it called a can cooler?
Yeah. And
Stubby holder.
stubby holder. It's very Australian.
It's not holding it. It's wrapped around it.
Yeah, so the heat from my hands doesn't get to the can.
Yep. Keeps it cooler for longer. Yeah.
Yep. Checks out.
We need that Australian truck driver dude on. He'll know about it.
Yeah. He will.
He's actually got a big delivery tonight. He's delivering 20 tons
He'll probably buy this item.
Mm.
of putrid trash. 20 tons of putrid trash. And hauling it 20 hours. 20 hours.
So that's
to
what
snow
we
him
should
up.
do. We should do an item trade and exchange.
Yeah.
Talkback.
Absolutely.
Yes, we should. We should do it.
Now
and,
there is a link in the chat if people want to join. I'd appreciate if you joined. We're live on the internet. It's the World Wide Web.
Guess who I spoke to?
Also
So
known as
I'll be-
cyberspace.
'cause I
Tim
want-
Who did you
Whisper.
talk to?
I want you and Thane to fight over the guests that I'm finding. So, just kidding.
Ow. Okay, so yeah, spill the beans.
Okay, so years
I'm
and
gonna
years and
guess-
years. Oh, okay. Without telling a big story, because like old people always tell you
Yeah,
long
keep
stories.
it short. Keep it short.
Okay, Cora. Who's the singer of Cora? Go.
Lawton Cora.
Yeah.
or
So
Brad.
I got back in touch with Lawton, and he used to do performing arts in Wellington. What's that famous school in Wellington?
Wellington Performing
Toi-
Arts.
Toi Whakaare.
Yeah, yes, that's it. So we used to catch up just outside clubs, like just say, hey, outside Galatos or whatever, back years ago. And you know, if he wasn't full-time music then, and he was doing building. So he was just like, oh yeah, just real cash. Like, I'm just doing building, you know. And then all of a sudden, like, Cora took off. They took off big time, and he's just phenomenal performer. So I've invited him on. So I think people are getting their head around how the technology works. So
That's a great guest there. I think that would be a great guest for
so
Thane.
lively.
Thane's
Yeah.
a
Good
huge
band, Cora.
musician.
Yes.
Knows
They're
a lot about
brothers.
music.
Oh, brothers. Yeah.
I've seen them at Piha. They played at Piha.
Really?
Pia.
Yeah, they played a surf festival out at Piha. They got a song called Burning, and they basically played like the guitar riff for about 10 minutes, but it was pretty awesome. Kelly Slater was out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was
What year was this that he visited?
maybe 15 years ago or something. I was out there.
Big surf comp there?
Or maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. Can't remember.
Well.
But but it was really good. They played right on the Piha beach. Free concert.
I think at least 4 of them are brothers. It's a family thing.
Yeah, because I'm in LAB now.
I don't know.
Some of them in LAB. I think the drummer, because they got a really good drummer in there.
Yeah. That's an important role. You got to have good rhythm.
But don't forget the bass player.
Yeah, bass is great. Bass is really
good. I was a bass player.
Right. Oh, you should join a band.
I was in a band. I was in a band before.
Oh, what was the band called?
I was in a few bands. I was in a metal band here in Auckland, and a few bands here in Auckland, and then I went over to the UK, played in a band over there.
Nice. Do you know,
so what are your guys' opinion on people lining up outside the shop all bloody night?
Silly.
Well, they're only going out there for the sneakers, aren't they? They were going for the JD Sports.
What?
They're all lining up outside JD Sports for the sneakers.
Why? Were they on sale?
Were they hanging on to the sneakers? Were they holding them?
So the first 150 people or whatever that got in there got $150 worth of credit.
Oh, God.
And because, sneakerheads, so they haven't been able to buy sneakers for months. So they're all waiting for the sneakers. And JD Sports has just opened at Sylvia Park.
Okay.
So basically they got all the stock there. So that's why they're waiting, because they can go sell the sneakers for more money.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is these idiots need to be beaten with a broom handle.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking
idiots.
Mate, I used to see them every time I go get my coffee in the morning before work. It doesn't matter if we're in lockdown or not. This has been going on for years. Like they're always lining up outside Foot Lockers before it opens to buy sneakers, because when new sneakers come out, so they buy them for $200, right? They walk out the door, they're worth about $500-600.
Where do they resell them?
Because people are into like sneakers. They've got a whole subculture.
Yeah, it's a strange,
the only time these worthless idiots have ever seen a fucking tent is outside Sylvia Park. They're such idiots. They would never go into a forest
and I was just like
getting a little bit of mud on their boots.
But what's ridiculous is people camping outside for KFC.
I went to Point Chev today because I went on a big drive, and
yeah, right.
I saw all these people lined up for KFC. I just thought, dicks. Because I just thought, why? It's just we're
All
gonna.
right. Shh. Look who we've got in chat. We've got Samir.
Oh,
Can we just do
great!
it? Can
Samir.
you guys just do a nice welcoming to Samir? Because I think he's new here.
No, he's been on before. Do you want me to introduce him?
Hey,
Just welcome
Samir.
him. Just bring him in. Just bring him in. Ask him if he's all good.
Has he got
He's
the
just
link?
in the chat.
Samir,
Okay.
we've got
Hi,
a few
Samir.
items.
Hi, Samir. Welcome. What's
We
up?
need to bring you
Palmy
through,
North.
Samir.
Yep.
Now
Come
we've got
through.
this guy. This guy's replying to David Meikle. So I'm not sure what David Meikle said that offended him, but Stefan Broca, we appreciate you, and your opinion is very valuable here. Replying to David Meikle, apart from juvenile name calling and appalling spelling that a primary school student would be ashamed of, what have you got to say that would demonstrate a superior opinion apart from nothing? That is if you want to get into the drama that's going on in the
Stefan
live
and
interactive
David.
chat now, I suggest you get in there, get involved in the drama. This guy is going off his fucking rocker in the chat. Samir, we appreciate you. Shout out my brother. We've got these goons out front of JB Sports. They need to be put down.
Yeah. Okay.
They're just trying to get rich off a pair of shoes that were made under forced labor in some part of Cambodia, or maybe it was inside of fucking China, in some sort of forced labor camp, making $100 shoes. Horrifying.
So
Okay, we've got a caller. A paired caller. We're just gonna cut across to the live camera now.
Oh, there he is.
Ryan.
There, caller. Let me just see if the console will collaborate. Samir,
Hello,
do you copy?
hello. Oh, I hope it's not too noisy. I'm living on a busy street.
No problem whatsoever. You'd be surprised by the amazing quality of a microphone these days. Welcome to the broadcast. Is there any topics that have sort of, excited or anything that you want to entertain us with? Any comments?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I have to do a plug because we're all good friends in podcasts.
You
I've
got an
actually
item?
my own podcast, and we're looking at doing some cool video stuff. It's a music podcast called Beat
Beats
Fun.
Bono or Beat Fun.
Yeah, Beat Fun.
Beat
Yeah. So it's like gonna be all about DJs, producers, behind the scenes, everyone sharing their sort of testimony, win, all the positive stuff, the sort of team building, celebrating what it means to be Kiwi, positive New Zealand music vibes.
Yeah.
Going to be sharing your Mahi live on the World Wide Web. Exciting times, Samir. Give us a little bit about. Can you share with us a little bit about your background there, brother?
Yes, my background. I'll tell you. So the name's Samir. That's an Arabic name. So my dad's from Algeria, my mum's from New Zealand. So I'm an Algerian Kiwi. So yeah, it's quite cool to have that mix in my background. And yeah, I've just been really connecting with that sort of side of me lately, of the Algeria, the Mediterranean, and all that. And hopefully got some more Arabic sort of fusion music coming as well. So it's going to be fun.
Hey, Samir, have you ever been when you're traveling and you're in a cab, taxi cab, Uber, and do you ever notice what the taxi driver's playing music, and you ask him what he's playing? Some of you hear some really interesting music.
Exactly. I've done some little recordings when I was driving around last time I went overseas, and I'm going to be putting them in my new EP album, whatever thing coming out next year. So people are going to hear like some actual moments where I was just sitting in a random car in Algeria or in Spain or in Paris or Barcelona. Yeah, it's going to be real cool.
Yeah, and it's sort of a lot of the memories are associated, like with traveling. A lot of the memories you remember the original music that you heard, and because you're so more awake, I think it makes you feel alive when you're traveling. It's hard sometimes, real hard, but you just more, your senses are more alive. That's how I found it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Can I ask you a question, Samir?
Yes, Hayden, sure.
So I do a lot of pub quiz, and my subject I'm good at is flags. So I'm trying to think of Algeria flag,
Nice.
and I haven't looked this up on Google. You can test me.
Yes.
It's white on one side, green on the other, and then you got like a red sea with like a star, isn't it?
You got it. Bang on. Yes. Well done. Exactly.
Great.
Perfect. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not anything that gets you putting good at flags, but
hey. It's a good thing to know.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah, pop, because that's cool. Yeah. Oh, well, if you guys ever get to go to Algeria, do it. At the city centre has that sort of French Paris vibe going on. Very cool city.
And have you lived?
What's the capital?
Were you there when you did go to,
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
Did you live there, or you visited family or something? Or?
Yeah, visited my family there first when I was 15, and then I went again a few years back before we were all stuck at home. So perfect timing. Caught up with all my dad's side of the family who's from there. So even though I'm born in New Zealand, I've got all of dad's side because he's Algerian. So
and have they been out here? Have they come over to see you? Yeah.
When I was real young, my grandma and granddad, and then they haven't come back since. But I've had my auntie and uncle, or my uncle and all the cousins who live in Paris. They're also on the Algerian side. So we've got Algerians all around the world, eh? Yeah.
Fantastic.
So you guys speak French there, or?
Yep, that's it. You got it. So they pretty much speak French and Arabic. So French is like the equivalent of us speaking English, and then Arabic's like, I guess, the Maori. You know, they've got all these different language.
Ça va.
Yes, it's the
Ça
one.
va et toi?
Ça va. And they've also got Berber, which is the native Algerian language. So
yeah, Berber. I remember that name. I remember that term, Berber in Morocco.
Yes, that's it. So speak in Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. I'm just taking this off Google. Libya and Canary Islands. Wow, that's a cool language.
Wow.
So how's
what's the climate like in Algeria? It's pretty warm.
Yeah, pretty warm, and then they do have the sort of winter. But it's pretty good. Like especially, it's a lot hotter in the summer, but like it's more the sort of humidity if it comes in. It's rather than the direct sunlight. Obviously, New Zealand, we've kind of got that direct sun hitting us.
Yeah, we've got the highest UV here than other countries, and the sun here feels it sort of feels clearer, where in some countries it feels more like thick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the humidity is like a thick heat, but it's different, isn't it? It's different how the heat here can be quite draining. Poor old Thane gets very, gets a bit tired with the humidity and the muggy climate here in Auckland. But so and have you seen any live bands when you were in Algeria, or do any of your family musicians, or how did you become?
Get into music. Well, Dad was always playing some Algerian some kind of mix of Algerian and just Islamic tapes. So Dad's a Muslim, Mum's Christian. And when they separated at 5, I got this huge mix of going to the mosque, going to the church. And so that really had to open my mind in one way. And so even though both of them weren't particularly into music, I've sort of, as I've grown up, I realized they both still were into music. And I sort of broke through as well, because I just found music was my happy escape growing up. And I could get my mind off those sort of challenges growing up and just find something that was very sort of just captivated me. So it started off with DJing and electronic music, And that was, that just kind of progressed from me being into computers. So here we are, music, computers, all the good stuff.
Yeah. Do you what do you edit in? I use Audition. So I mean, I did have a subscription to Serato, but I didn't really take advantage of it. I wish I had, and then it expired. So. But I found that I played around in Serato, and it was pretty full on actually, and I just didn't really have the headspace at the time, and because you really just have to be all in.
Yes.
No, you got to go Ableton Live.
Ableton I'm on Ableton. Yep, that's another good one. I've been learning Ableton for a few cool people. Tom Lee from Lee Matthews. All these different people have been sort of sharing their music software.
So, you got any items for sale, Samir?
I actually do. So, I've got some cool news to share with us all. My track got selected to be played in the New Zealand Music Month. They did like a music summit thing, like New Zealand Music Commission and all that, and they picked my track from one of these New Zealand studio websites. They picked my track to be the countdown video before the whole thing all started. So I thought, wow, my first ever placement. I actually have some jingles that you can find and buy, and so you don't just have to buy music. You can buy. If you're a business, I've got that stuff going as well. So Thane was talking about side hustles the other day. I'm into side hustles as well.
So you're talking about countdown, like if you go into
that countdown is in timer countdown. They had like a timer countdown for the
not the supermarket.
Yeah, I thought he might have a jingle on the countdown ad.
That's what I was thinking. Who knows? Next time we're going to have the other countdown, getting the music on. So yeah.
So why don't you share? Do you want to share a link to any of it, or you're on SoundCloud, right?
Yes, I'm on SoundCloud. Yes, you can find me on SoundCloud. Just type in Deck Trick. So that's my
Deck Trick.
DECKTRIK for everyone tuning in, and that's my little DJ name. But I go for other names too, like Marketable Music is what I'm doing my jingles under. So there's just kind of like little things you can do for everything now with music. It's really cool.
I remember you mentioned you got selected for a scholarship to teach in Auckland schools. So how is that going to happen with our current situation, like with the schools leaving open, and like what did they give you a timeline of when they want you to begin, or which skills you're allowed to talk?
Here we go. So that's some music that I've shared. So the good thing with SoundCloud, it's kind of like Facebook. You can actually put music that's not your own. So that's not my track, but that's still cool. Yeah. Right. So if you scroll hard enough, there we go. These are all my little fun edits and remixes. I do a mixture of my own originals, but I also like to do a few things people know and
I think I heard this one recently. This is good.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, very, very good.
That's pretty good. What genre would you say it is?
That's the drum and bass, super fast drums. And I actually started out with house music. That was how it all began. General Lee on ZM Ministry of Sound. Oh, mate, as soon as he was all these kind of remixes, I was like, I know that song, but it's different. And then the whole journey began from there,
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was got a really good vibe, that one.
And influences?
Yeah. So I was really, obviously, General Lee was a big one. I started just following the George, and that's how I always got to know Thane. I was always tuned in on the FM radio to all these electronics DJs. So I'm trying to keep all my influences Kiwi now, but I really got on with sort of David Guetta's, Martin Solveig, all these kind of freak American artists. They were
Calvin Harris.
bringing electronic. Yeah, Calvin Harris. They were bringing electronic out there. You know.
What about the upbeats?
Oh yes. Well, yep. I love the upbeats. Yeah, really cool. Really cool.
I've seen them a couple of times. I've seen Concord Dawn, the upbeats. What were those other guys that were similar to the upbeats?
Yeah.
I
actually got on the topic of drum and bass. I always get State of Mind and the upbeats mixed up. But I don't know why, but I don't.
Yeah, that was the one I was trying to think of. State of Mind.
Yeah,
and they're very good as well.
With State of Mind, it's Messy Week years ago. So
I remember the Loop CDs, early 2000s, I think. Remember the Loop CD, Loop compilations. Yeah, you might be a bit young to remember.
Yeah, I'm a bit young too.
Yeah, but they were featured a lot of Wellington electronic musicians, producers.
Yeah,
they were good. They were really good. Cloud Boy, Rian Xian, just cool, abstract, real ambient. Sort of, yeah, and then it would get quite upbeat and funky as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, go Hayden. Go. That's wonderful. Can you plug it in? Amplify it. You have an amp there?
This track we're hearing now is actually from a good friend who helped me get into music, Rory Noble. So he grew up in Palmerston North, and he moved to Auckland. He's like a super producer, and we sort of still keep in touch now that I'm up in Auckland. So yeah, kind of always supporting New Zealand electronic. It's growing, you know?
Yeah.
And what's your favorite chef? Would you say, if you had to choose between Rachel Ray and Nadia Lim?
Yeah, I'll go with Rachel Ray, but that's mainly because it was childhood as well as very, very, consistent lineage of all these different recipes. But Nadia Lim, oh mate, it's hard to choose one, so I'll go with both. But Rachel Ray, yeah.
They're both phenomenal.
Yeah,
exactly.
They are. But yeah, Rachel Ray hasn't actually been on our screens for a while, but yeah, Nadia Lim films a lot from her home, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's very classy. So what's this? This is you've just stitched a few tracks together.
That's the one. Yeah, I've made a little mashup. So the mashups is how I begun this whole thing. I was about 11 or 12 in intermediate, and then I bought this. I downloaded this Try Before You Buy version of Mixcraft 5, and that was really helpful before I got into FL Studio, which is the sort of more professional audio software. So yeah, I got to mess around Audacity and all these different softwares, and they all kind of helped me progress along the years. Yeah.
That's cool. And who do you know locally? Like, how do you keep in touch or mix and learn about new local up and coming talent, or because often I've spent time in Palmerston North, not until I was older, but we have some great parties there, great little clubbing scene many years ago now, but yeah, it was a small community, but it was just mixing with the right people and sharing your ideas. And yeah, do you do that? Because I mean, a lot of people know each other in Palmerston North. Do people mix quite well these days? Or?
That's it. They sure do. And I got to give a shout out to my friend Edward. He introduced me to the Stomach there, and I was going along to gigs where.
Oh my gosh, the Stomach! Really?
Yes, your favorite.
A lot of stuff goes down the stomach.
That's right. That's right. And so it wasn't always the music that I enjoyed or was particularly into being into like DJing, but I still enjoyed, that camaraderie of all turning up to gigs. And from there it was just Facebook, met so many people across New
Do you have a
Zealand.
Bebo or?
Well, I tell you what, at the intermediate, I had a Bebo, and I was really using those tricks to get on the top of bowling buddies. That was one of the games you could compete with on Bebo.
No,
You know what?
I
The
used to have a
stomach.
Bebo.
I met someone who ran the office side of it, but I spent some time in the stomach studio as well. This is so long ago, but that was actually one of my first volunteer roles as a teenager. Because it's just being a bit freaky and putting yourself out there.
Yes.
Sometimes I
Benny
wonder
knows
if
about
Selena's.
that. Yeah. And look at
Sometimes
me
I wonder
now.
about Selena's stories, if they're true or not. Because sometimes she says a lot of stuff.
True. It's
No,
totally
that one's
true.
true because she told me before
Okay.
as well. So yeah, that one's
Would you believe I actually managed a band? I know. I won't get it. It was my cousin's band, but it was a bit of fun. I got them to record at the stomach, actually. This
Bloody marvelous.
is funny.
Incredible. Hey, well, man, oh man, this has been a real show. Selena, thanks so much for hosting that part of the show there.
You're
And
welcome.
Samir, thanks for coming through, man.
Yeah.
Excellent.
blessing. Honoured.
Feel free to call in any time, okay? We do this
Yeah.
6 nights a week, buddy.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
Cool, man.
Thank
We'll have you back on any time. Thank you so much. And Hayden, man, any final thoughts? Anything you want to leave any sentiment you want to leave the fans with?
Oh, we've still got those items. If people want to look up, if they want to go back and check about the items, it's an
Affordable
item.
items.
Yeah.
It's affordable. Okay, we'll talk to you again real soon. Thank you so much, brother. And Selena, Spain. I mean, your item's already for sale, so that's as good as gone. Congratulations on sale of the item.
Yeah, I hope it
How
goes
much are you
through.
hoping to recoup? What's your hope?
I didn't put a buy now on it, but
Just let it go.
$50. Would help.
It's good to go. Okay, well, I appreciate you. Thanks for being on the show tonight. And I think you're going to sell it. I think it's going to go.
Okay, good.
Superb. And man, oh man, what a big show. Huge show, 2-hour show. Just like most nights of the week, Selena Spain there doing a full-on in-depth interview at the end of the show there. That was heroic. That was heroic. The SoundCloud there, right there. Dick trick, kind of, tricky with the dicks. SoundCloud.com/dick trick. And you can even go /tracks if you want to get tricky. I'm gonna because he took the time, because he was gracious. He was absolutely gracious enough to come in and drop knowledge directly from the cranium. We're gonna drop that link in the chat. Thank you kindly, everybody, for being here. And there it is, right there. Boom. Dick trick /tracks. That's the easiest way to jump right into his tracks. Yep. All right. We're gonna wrap this show up tonight. We're gonna do it in the next sort of moment. As I thank our presenters, Thane Kirby, Sophia Mantel, Luke Dello. I'm sure we'll get him back one day. He's on hiatus. He is on sabbatical. He is on a trip to Barbados. Maybe he's been locked up in the state penitentiary. I don't know. We may never know. Thanks, of course, to I like to call him MBB. You might know him as I like to call him MBB. You might know him as Bomber, but I think of him as Martin Bomber Bradbury, or MBB. And Thank you so much. Oh, it was Bomber. Thank you so much, Thane and Sophia. You guys were freaking awesome. That was one hell of a show. If you want to follow me, you can go right over to YouTube. Do it. I've got over 500 sub, 500 sub, 500 sub, 5. Here's how you do it. Boom, you're talking schmack, you're live with Benny Mack, and this has been another episode. Yeah, so thanks for joining us. That's our show, and good night, and we'll see you another time.